In the NBA's conference semifinals, 4 Game 1s have been completed. The Milwaukee Bucks defeated the Boston Celtics for the first time in the playoffs, with Giannis Antetokounmpo proving too much for the league's best defense. This video is the only highlight you will need if you missed the game. And before we go any further, please like and subscribe to this channel. Thank you. Meanwhile, Game 1 of their series between the Golden State Warriors and the Memphis Grizzlies was a spectacle. Despite Draymond Green being ejected late in the second quarter for a flagrant 2 foul, the Warriors were able to hold on after Ja Morant missed a game-winning layup in the final seconds. After trailing the Philadelphia 76ers by 1 point at halftime, the Miami Heat turned things around, led by Tyler Herro's team-high 25 points off the bench. The Phoenix Suns won Game 1 despite Luka Doncic's 45 points, and Chris Paul finally missed a shot after going 14 for 14 in the first round. Now let's talk about what has happened and what to expect in the NBA semifinals before the conference finals. Number 1. Warriors 1 vs Grizzlies 0. Memphis may require a lineup change. There is no such thing as a must-win Game 1 in the best-of-7 series, but the host Grizzlies game on Sunday felt a lot like one. Despite a rare 3-point lead against the Warriors, who averaged 2.8 more triples during the regular season, Memphis was unable to capitalize when Draymond Green was dismissed for a flagrant foul. Golden State was able to grind out a win in a Grizzlies-like fashion, grabbing 16 offensive rebounds, as many as the Warriors had in any 2 game periods against the Denver Nuggets in the first round, and surviving a game-winning layup at the buzzer by Ja Morant. Memphis must now, at the very least, achieve a home split. The first question before Game 2 is whether the starting 5 will be changed. Taylor Jenkins employed 3 different lineups against the Minnesota Timberwolves before opting on Xavier Tillman Sr. at center in place of the more paint-bound Steven Adams, who had been out the past 2 games due to NBA health and safety procedures. After starting the second half with a 3-guard lineup, Golden State was able to attack Tillman in pick and rolls. The Warriors were completely comfortable switching their smaller guards on Tillman after the Grizzlies were outscored 13-5 in the first 3:53 of the third quarter. Brandon Clark, who hasn't started a playoff game but has finished every tight one, is Memphis's best option besides Jared Jackson Jr. If Jenkins doesn't want to start Clark, reverting to Kyle Anderson would provide the Grizzlies more playmaking and defensive versatility while matching Tillman's minutes off the bench against softer Golden State reserves. With Green expected to return for Game 2, Warriors coach Steve Kerr will have to make a lineup decision. Kerr decided to keep Green at the center, but replaced Poole with defensive stalwart Gary Payton II after playing small to close out the Nuggets with Green at the center and Stephen Curry back in the starting lineup alongside Jordan Poole and Klay Thompson. Poole took Payton's position in the second half, but both were on the court down the stretch. Memphis did a terrific job targeting the Warriors' small lineup in the dying minutes, forcing switches to shake Morant free from Payton. Morant was able to break down Poole and Thompson off the dribble in the final 4 minutes, scoring 6 points and dishing out 3 assists. One question remains: can the Grizzlies resurrect Dillon Brooks? Brooks, who averaged 25.8 points per game during the last season's playoff run, is down to 15.3 points per game this season on 36% shooting, noting that Game 1 was his 4th of 7 postseason games in which he shot less than 30% from the field. Number 2. The Bucks 1 vs Celtics 0. The battle tested for the 5th time in 6 years. The Boston Celtics find themselves in the conference semifinals facing the defending champion Milwaukee Bucks, who will likely be without one of their best players in 3-time All-Star Chris Middleton, who is projected to miss the entire series. In Game 1, the Bucks held the upper hand. They were the more physical and aggressive squad, forcing Boston to push through offensive setups and settle for a franchise record 53-point attempts in the playoffs. The shots weren't all horrible. With 3:50 remaining in the fourth quarter, the Celtics had back-to-back-to-back wide-open shots and nailed 2 of those 3 to cut the deficit to 12 points. Boston got the looks it wanted, but coach Ime Udoka believes getting the Celtics' mid-range shots to fall will be vital in Game 2. The Celtics made 10 of 34 2-point field goals while going 0 for 3 outside the paint. Their previous low for made 2-point field goals in the game Regular season or postseason was 14, according to ESPN Stats and Information Research. In Game 1, Bucks star Giannis Antetokounmpo scored 24 points, grabbed 13 rebounds, and handed out 12 assists, but he shot just 9 of 25 from the field. Despite this, he was able to make plays that resulted in 55 points. His teammates made 12 of 18 of his passes, including 7 three-pointers. Boston's strategy was to throw many looks and defenders at Antetokounmpo, which resulted in 14 uncontested opportunities for his teammates. According to ESPN Stats and Information, Antetokounmpo and Brook Lopez combined to be defensive anchors in the center, causing Boston to shoot 3 of 20, with either of them challenged a shot, including 1 of 15 from inside the arc. From Boston to win Game 2, it will have to improve in the minutes that Antetokounmpo sits. The Bucks were plus 23 when he was on the court for 37-47, and minus 11 when he sat. However, there were few and far between. Bucks coach Mike Budenholzer sat Antetokounmpo for less than a minute on multiple occasions. He was given a 2:39 respite to begin the second quarter from being forced to sit for the last 3:37 of the third due to his fourth foul. The other objective was to take advantage of Boston's mistake while preventing the Celtics from taking advantage of Milwaukee's. The Bucks scored 27 points off 18 turnovers by the Celtics, while the Celtics only scored 6 points off 14 Bucks turnovers. Number 3, Heat 1 versus 76ers 0. Without Joel Embiid, the 76ers were going to struggle against almost any opportunity. There's a reason Embiid is a finalist for MVP for the second year in a row. The Heat and their all-star center Bam Adebayo are possibly the worst opponent to draw sans Embiid, who will miss at least the first 2 games of this series. On a night when the Heat couldn't get out of their way and gave the 76ers each chance to win the first game of the Eastern Conference semifinals, it was Adebayo who ensured the Heat's victory. His final line of 24 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block in 34 minutes hardly scratches the surface of his dominance. However, his plus 26 does. After Game 1, the 76ers' reaction was similar. It was a similar performance to Adebayo's role in leading the Heat to the NBA Finals in the Orlando, Florida bubble in 2020. It was Adebayo, not Jimmy Butler, who allowed Miami to control the game by commanding the paint on both ends against the Bucks in the East semifinals and especially against the Celtics in the East Finals. It's also a reminder of how different the finals versus the Los Angeles Lakers could have been if Adebayo hadn't been injured in Game 1. On Monday night, Adebayo completely outplayed Sixers center DeAndre Jordan, who finished with a minus 22 rating in 17 minutes. Paul Reed put up 4 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 assists in 13 minutes, but he also had 5 fouls. Some of it is because Reed is prone to foul trouble, but most of it is due to Adebayo's ability to control the inside and create fouls. In addition to holding the 76ers to 6 for 34 from 3-point range, Adebayo helped anchor a defense that saw them succeed inside. That won't change as long as Embiid sits on the bench. If Adebayo returns, he'll be one of the few centers in the NBA who can contest him in single coverage, allowing Miami's other defenders like PJ Tucker and Butler to focus on James Harden and Tobias Harris. The 76ers depart FTX Arena confident that a win in Game 2 on Wednesday night would put them back in the series. However, if Adebayo continues to dominate the paint as he did in the first game, this series might be over quickly. Number 4, Suns 1 versus Mavericks 0. DeAndre Ayton, the Suns center, offers a significant challenge for the Dallas Mavericks that they did not face in the first round. As Ayton demonstrated in the first 3 quarters of Monday's Game 1, he's a center capable of being a dominant scorer. Ayton led the Suns to a 121-114 victory by scoring 25 points on 12 of 16 shootings through 3 quarters. In the fourth quarter, Dallas held Ayton scoreless as he missed all 4 of his shots. Dallas may have discovered a small ball solution, but it's too late. The Mavs used a small lineup in the fourth quarter with 6'8" center Dorian Finney-Smith at the center. In the fourth, starting center Dwight Powell did not play at all, and backup big man Maxi Kleber only played 108 seconds. With Finney-Smith at the center, Dallas outscored the Suns by 12 points in the first 10 minutes and 12 seconds. the Mavs are optimistic that their small lineup can be an asset in this series, as Aiton complained about the Suns taking their foot off the gas pedal with a comfortable lead, and that surely could have been a factor. Thank you for sticking with me until the end, and if you like this video, please like and subscribe to this channel for more great content. I'll see you guys later.